Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 10 of What If Naruto was the Otsutsuki King. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also, go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto pushed himself to his limit. And enjoy that guys. And I'm also going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was a badass genius, so thank you for that and I hope you guys enjoy. And I'm also going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was a smart prodigy. So stay tuned for that as well guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for helping your support, and yeah, remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. So without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Let's begin the intro. So, the last time we left off, Naruto attacked Sasuke for kissing his sister, as Mito had to quickly step in and explain to her brother that it was an accident, as Sasuke explained to him as well. But Naruto then calmed himself, as Sasuke knew that that was rather strange of him to just forgive and forget like that. As they then went off to the tower, for the entire time Sasuke was cautioned because Naruto didn't do anything or didn't attack him or anything. But he was still skeptical about Naruto's motives, so he decided to play safe and just keep out of his vision for now. The preliminaries then came up, as Kabuto was the one to leave. As the matches begin, with Sasuke faced off against Yuri, Kabuto's teammate, as Naruto then went through hand signs, as a seal appeared on Sasuke's chest. Sasuke was surprised when he couldn't feel any of his chakra, and then Yuri started attacking with ferocious speed and strength. As Sasuke was cursed as he saw Naruto that smile on his face, but even though that Sasuke prevailed, as he did a lion barrage and knocked out his opponent. After cursing at Naruto very loudly, Naruto eventually removed the seal from his chest. Hinata then faced off against Neji, as everyone watched a brutal battle. As Mito was pissed off, how could he do his family member like that? As she promised him that she would make him pay in the finals. She then faced off against Karu. Karu really thought that she could beat Mito. After the years of training under Naruto, and Naruto pushing her to become strong, she said she wants to become Hokage, and she wanted to train her seriously. Mito was able to totally outclass Karu and knocked her out in the end, winning the match. As the rest of the matches went on, with the others pushing towards the final, it then came up for Gaara to face off against Ino, as Naruto told Ino to be careful, even though she was annoying. She was a good friend to him and his sister. And he know that Gaara boy is just hunting for bloodlust. As the battle began, as Ino tried to do her mind transformation jutsu, but she came up on the sight of Shikaku as she quickly fled his mind. She was grabbed by San as she felt her body being crushed together. She said that she gave up as Genma dashed into the arena, telling Gaara to put her down. But Gaara gave Genma a glare like he still wanted to crush Ino. But Gaara then saw Naruto appear right in front of his face, as everyone was shocked when he moved, as Naruto told Gaara to release her. As Gaara then felt Shikaku's presence vanish. Even Shikaku didn't know what this boy was. He didn't understand why was he scared of this boy. It was strange. His power was so similar to the old man's, but it was just something different, something darker and something more like it was being hid behind a surface and was just waiting to explode. A 3-way match then continued at the last one, with Kiba versus Naruto and Lee. Kiba, thinking that he was a big shot, tried to take on Naruto at first. Using his spinning tactic, Naruto quickly drained all the chakra as he grabbed Akamaru and Kiba and smashed the both of them into the ground. He quickly subdued the both of them as he then turned towards Lee. So yeah guys, that was basically the last where we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So let's start this new episode. We begin this episode with Naruto as he had a bored look on his face. Kiba was taken off the arena stage. seeing that he was in no condition to fight. Also, Shikamaru, as they were sent to the infirmary, everyone eyes their eyes glued on the match. Given what Naruto did so far, they didn't expect Lee to beat Naruto in any shape. But Guy had a smile on his face, as Kakashi noticed that. "Naruto-san," Lee said, as Naruto turned towards him. "Given your impressive display, I think it's time that we begin. I'll give you the honors of making the first move," Naruto said. Lee smiled. "Here I come," he said as he dashed towards Naruto in reasonable speed. Naruto wasn't paying him any mind until Lee blurred away. As Naruto's eyes narrowed the slightest, Lee appeared below him and kicked him right under his chin, knocking Naruto up into the air. As Lee then appeared again once more in mid-air, he drove a drop kick on Naruto's shoulder. As Naruto was sent flying back down, before Naruto could touch the ground though, Lee appeared right in front of him and drive a right hook straight to his face. Naruto was sent sailing as he smashed right through the wall, going inside of it. As the entire crowd was speechless upstairs. As Sasuke was beyond surprised, but yet he couldn't stop the smirk from appearing on his face. As finally, someone is putting Naruto in his place. As Naruto always is above him because he's stronger. But now someone is finally beating down on him. As Sasuke was impressed by Lee's ability and speed though, but he was happy that Naruto was getting put in his place. "Why are you smiling?" Mito said. Your brother is finally getting the beating down he deserved." "Well, just wait and see." As Kakashi looked over towards Guy, as Guy gave him one of those eye smiles as well, mimicking Kakashi. Meanwhile, this Lee person, he's really strong, said Samui. "Yes, he is," said Yujito. "For him to one-hit him like that, he went straight through the wall. It seemed like he's mainly focusing on taijutsu though." "Yes, you're right," said Samui. "But I wonder, what will he do?" As she looked towards the wall. Meanwhile, Naruto was still in the wall, as a few rubble dropped on his face. He brushed it off. "He's better than I expected," Naruto said. "I thought he was going to be same as one of those weaklings. Well, I suppose I don't have to hold back that much. I suppose he won't die if I show him a few things or two." Suddenly, everyone started to feel the ground shaking. "Here he comes," Mito said, as Naruto blasted out of the wall. With an incredible force, he blasted past Lee. Lee flipped away, but Naruto accidentally slammed into the wall. As everyone watched as their sweat dropped. What the hell was that, they thought? As Naruto ripped his head from out of the wall. Damn it, still doesn't have much control of that, he thought to himself. He then turned towards Lee, as Lee had an amused look on his face. "While I'm impressed by your speed, it seems like you don't have full control," Lee said. "That's just the warm-up," Naruto said. "But I must say, Lee, you surprised me. I thought you were going to be the same as Kiba, some weakling, who I have to hold back a lot. But now I can see that you can take a few hits if you can give them. So I will suggest you get yourself ready, because I'm coming at you, and it will hurt," Naruto said. Lee went into his fighting stance. There was a small, gentle breeze that passed, as both boys then vanished in a burst of speed. Most of the Genins couldn't even see what was going on. They just could hear clashes all over the arena, until they saw green blur, as Lee was thrust so hard into the wall, the entire thing shook and broke down. As Naruto landed right in front of the entrance, Lee burst out of it with a triple kick towards Naruto's face. Naruto dodged under it and grabbed Lee by the back of his neck and brought him around, but Lee twisted his body in mid-air and dropped a high kick on Naruto's temple. But Naruto grabbed Lee's foot as the ground shattered under the force. As a smile was on Naruto's face, as his battle was really enjoyable. Fighting off against Orochimaru, that was just mainly power, but to test someone in his hand-to-hand combat, as Naruto flipped Lee over and dragged him down to the ground. Lee kicked Naruto's feet as he flipped away. Naruto leaped up in the air as he dived down towards Lee at brilliant speed. Coming in head first, Lee held his arm in an X motion until Naruto blurred out of sight. Lee cried out in pain that foot planted into his back. Before he could go too far though, Naruto grabbed the back of his shirt and thrust him over his shoulder, smashing Lee's entire body into the ground. Naruto then raised his foot as he was about to drive it down when Lee quickly jumped away. Lee was huffing a bit as he had bruises over his body. It seems he has been holding back. Lee then turned towards the spectators. Guy Sensei, as Guy understood. Do it, Lee, Guy said, as Lee jumped up on the podium on the statue's finger. As he started to remove his weights, Naruto stood there waiting for Lee to do his thing, all the while having a smile on his face. Mito was quite surprised. It seems like he's really enjoying himself, said Mito. Huh? Said Sasuke. Well, look at him. He's smiling. Hand-to-hand combat really suits him. What are you talking about? Me and him do hand-to-hand combat a lot of time, but he doesn't smile that much. Well, sorry to say this, but Lee is better than you in that. The reason he doesn't smile with you is because he's still holding back a lot. But it looks like he's going a bit into it. Sasuke frowned at her comment as he turned his head. I'm sorry, don't get upset, she said, as Sasuke didn't look back at her. Oh, come on, she said, as she pouted a bit. Everyone watched as Lee released the weights. Samui and Yujito eyes went wide as they couldn't believe it. How much was he carrying? Lee then landed on the ground, doing a few test jumps. Here I come, Naruto-san, he said. Bring it, Naruto said. Lee blinked away, out of Naruto's view, as Naruto smiled then tilted his head as a fist passed his face. I can still see you, Naruto said. As he stomped into the ground, a giant earth spike came out, going straight towards Lee. Lee smashed his feet into it, breaking it to pieces. The moment he did that, earth pieces fly up in the air, but he then saw a fist moving directly towards his face. Lee brought his hand in X motion as Naruto's fist connected into it. The force sent Lee skyrocketing as he was slammed straight into the top of the arena. Lee shook his head in mid-air as he came back down that spinning lotus. Naruto leaped back just in time as Lee crashed into the ground. So much force, the ground erupted. As Genma and others watched, are these two really Genins? Genma said, as Naruto had the smirk still plastered on his face, as he kept on dodging Lee, as Guy couldn't believe it. Lee was the best in taijutsu for his age, but this boy, he's just dodging him without much effort. As Naruto leaped back, Lee rushed towards him again until Naruto caught his fist right in his palm. The both of them created a mini shockwave as the fist connected into the palm. I must say, you're quite strong, Naruto-san, said Lee. You're not so bad yourself, said Naruto. But you're boring me. What? Lee said. If you don't have anything else to show, I guess it's over, Naruto said. Before Lee knew it, a fist connected into his stomach. His eyes went wide. Naruto then grabbed Lee by the face and drive his knee right towards Lee's chin, knocking his head up in the air. As Naruto backhanded him away, Lee was sent sailing backwards as he smashed into the wall. I suggest you give up, Naruto said. You're a prize fighter, and I don't wish to hurt you anymore. So give up before I have to force myself to do it. Lee pulled himself from the rubble. You are strong, I must say, but I have my oath. I will prove to everyone that you're not useless when using taijutsu, and even though I don't have any chakra, compared to someone like you who has a lot, I will beat you, Lee said. As Naruto stood there unfazed, Lee then looked up. I'm sorry, Guy Sensei, but I need to do this. Lee then crossed his hand in an X motion. Guy, you teach him that? Said Kakashi, as he was surprised. Guy had a worried look on his face as the area around the ground started to crack. As Lee, skin started to turn red and a green aura started to leak as Lee entered the first, then the second, as Naruto watched the ground breaking apart the more he go into. These are the gates. Naruto then looked towards Guy, but it seems like it has a cost, as Lee kept on breaking into the gates until he reached up to the fifth gate. The aura exploded outwards, dancing around him, as Naruto just stood there and watched. Without saying anything, Lee blinked away. Surprisingly enough, Naruto was surprised, as Lee was right next to him. Lee then aimed a fist towards his head, but Lee then vanished before he could connect. Lee then appeared next to him and aimed another fist, but he vanished again. He then appeared behind him and aimed another fist to his back, but he vanished. The moment Naruto turned back around, an uppercut slammed under his chin, knocking him straight up into the air. As Lee then appeared above him and grabbed him around the midsection, tying him up with the bandages. As Lee came down this spinning lotus, as Lee drive Naruto's body straight into the ground, a royal boom, shattering the ground on impact. As Lee then jumped away, still in his gates. The smoke and cloud filled the area, as Sasuke was laughing the entire time, as he was surely gonna bring this up later. For Naruto acting all high and mighty, Lee was able to bring him down. But Sasuke stopped talking, as everyone heard that chuckling coming from where Naruto landed. When the dust cleared, it was Naruto as he was lying down in the crater. He was chuckling. As Naruto turned towards Lee, "I must say, you keep on surprising me. To think that you had this up your sleeves. Now I know I won't have to hold back that much." Suddenly, the aura around Naruto started to intensify to a state where the people up in the stands could feel the pressure dropping the entire area. Any stone or anything that was left in mid-air, it all came dropping down. It was like gravity was pulling down itself. Lee, feeling his body shake under the force, seeing that he was the closest to Naruto. Before Lee could even react, Naruto appeared right in front of him. A stern hand grabbed Lee by the face. Lee raised his other hand to knock it off, but Naruto drive a fist so intense into Lee's stomach that the force behind Lee back. The wall exploded as Lee coughed up blood instantly as he dropped to his knees. Naruto's entire body was oozing out chakra out of it. Even though he was still being suppressed by the Toma seals, he was letting his chakra being rattled a bit. As he see that Lee could take a punch, Naruto backhanded Lee so hard, Lee smashed on the ground several times before smashing into the wall. As Naruto appeared in front of him and grabbed him by the face, as Naruto then ran, while driving Lee's face right through the wall, breaking it apart. He then thrust Lee straight up into the air. As Naruto opened up his palm, a deadly torrent of wind smashed into Lee, knocking him up higher into the air. Naruto then stomped into the ground, as several medium-sized balls of earth came up. As the Jonins were shocked to this, for someone his age to have master over earth like that. As he sent them all towards Lee, they smashed into Lee as he cried out in mid-air, as Lee could feel them burying into him. Naruto then raised his hand as the several balls wrapped around Lee's body, as Naruto then pulled them down with so much force. Lee's body was yanked out of the air. He smashed into the ground a boom, creating a lot of debris and craters, as Naruto kept on controlling the balls, sending Lee all around, smashing him right into the wall, into the railing. After a while, Naruto realized that Lee came out of his gate, as another disappointed look flashed across Naruto's face, as he thought that Lee could handle it. Naruto then let Lee fall to the ground, gently, as he then turned to walk away. Where are you going?" Lee said. Naruto turned around surprised. "I am not done yet." As the group watched, as they gasped, seeing Lee stood up again. But Naruto then turned towards him and started to walk towards him. "Big brother," Mito said, as she didn't want Naruto to do anything that bad. Lee was in no condition to fight even though he stands. Guy clenched his fist, but for some reason he felt like Naruto was going to hurt Lee. The moment Naruto reached Lee, he looked at him. But Guy then watched as Naruto grabbed Lee by the throat. As a smile was on Naruto's face, a small one. "The only reason I won't kill you is because I kind of enjoy the battle. And I must say, if you train a little harder and manage to achieve the full power of the gates." Naruto then looked towards Guy. For someone as old as him, he must have achieved that power already. But he wouldn't want to go all out. Well, so Lee, that's leave it up to you. One day, we will probably have a rematch. But then, you will be having to try and kill me because that's the only way I will know if you truly improve. And I will be aiming to kill you as well, Naruto said. He then released Lee, who dropped to the ground. His body finally came to exhaustion. As Genma looked around, the entire ring was in shambles. As he was lucky that this was the final match, because this would have taken a lot to rebuild. But that kid, as he watched Naruto walked over, straight towards him, the chakra stopped oozing instantly. Aren't you gonna announce me the winner, Naruto asked. Oh yeah, the winner of the match, Naruto Uzumaki, said Genma, as Lee was taken to the infirmary, as Guy went off with him. As Naruto walked back up the stairs, walking past the San and the Kumo team, he didn't even look at them, as he saw his sister with a smile on her face, and he saw Sasuke pouting in the corner. Are you disappointed in the match, Sasuke? Naruto asked. Screw you, Sasuke said. And what did I do to you now, Naruto asked. Why don't you ever fight me that seriously when we're training? Because if I did that back then, you'd have probably ended up in the hospital a couple of times, causing you displeasure. And by the way, comparing to Taijutsu, you're nowhere on Lee's level. Asuma narrowed his eyes at Naruto. Kakashi, what is up with that kid? Huh? What do you mean, said Kakashi? Well, after all those hits, look at him. As Kakashi looked over at Naruto. Don't tell me you don't see that. There is not even a single cut on his body. Not a bruise, nothing. Does he had some strange healing kick against her or something? I'm afraid not. But he's quite special, Kakashi said. As Asuma could hear the underlying tone in Kakashi's voice. As he decided to not ask any further. Well, he is special after all. Mito turned towards Naruto. As she smiled. You did it, big brother. Even though you didn't have to hurt him that badly. Well, he wouldn't give up, Naruto said. Well, at least you didn't hurt him that much. He should be out of the hospital soon enough. Now it's time we hear about the finals. Minutes later, all of them were in the arena. As they all draw balls with a specific number on it. As Hayate lists off the finals. The first match will be Shikamaru Nara versus Tamari. A big groan could be heard as everyone turned towards Shikamaru, as he was cursing, as the people could make out the words, why every time a girl? As this was him fighting a girl yet again. Tamari just smirked. Me fighting lazy ass? That should be rather easy, she said. The next match after that was Mito going up against Neji. Mito turned as she looked at Neji to give him her most intense glare ever, as she was definitely gonna make him pay for what he did to Hinata. The third match was Naruto versus Yujito. The fourth match will be Samui versus Dosu. The fifth match will be Sasuke versus Gaara. And Shino will be fighting the winner of the first match. So yes, those are the listing for the finals, as all of them got a month to learn new skills and get stronger to surprise your opponent. Time skip. 2 hours after the ending of the preliminaries. As Mito went off to visit Hinata at the hospital, as Naruto was now following behind Ino, as she said that she really wanted to talk to him. Ino, where are you taking me? Naruto asked. Just be quiet and follow me, okay? Shouldn't you be resting? Naruto said. After what happened? I got healed up, I'm fine, she said. Besides, it ended rather quickly. You should know that since you're the one that saved me. As she then went quiet. She brought Naruto to a rather strange alley. As Naruto looked around. What are we doing here? He said, looking around the place. Ino then started to act all shy. What is wrong with you? He said. I just wanted to thank you. You risked your life and jumped in to save me. And for that, I'm grateful, she said. As she then leaned towards him, Naruto made no altered reactions as he didn't move. As she gave him a kiss on the cheek. Seeing Naruto stare back at her, she turned extremely red. I just want to show my appreciation, she said. You could have done that back at the stadium. Why did you bring me all the way out here to do that? Well, as she ran off without saying anything, as she was just too embarrassed, blushing the entire time, as she couldn't believe she mustered the courage to do that. Even though she was always playing with him and kind of small flirting with him, she never actually kissed anyone yet. Well, except for her mother and her father when she was younger. But they didn't count. So this was her first time kissing an actual boy her age. And she was rather nervous, so she just ran off. Naruto simply sighed as he flashed away after that. Time skip. 3 days later. It was currently night time. Is everything going according to plan? Asked Baki from the sand as the Anfu in front of him slowly removed his mask. Yes, Lord Orochimaru-sama said that everything is ready. Once a signal is given, the sound and the sand will charge in and we will cut down Konoha. Baki narrowed his eyes slightly as he noticed they were being watched. Meanwhile, Hayate heard the entire thing. I must inform the Hokage about this, he thought. The moment he turned, a sword ran right through his chest as he coughed up blood. I'm sorry, said Baki. But the Hokage can't know this. As he twists the sword, Hayate grunted in pain as he jumped back, as he clutched his wound. Before he could react or anything, a kunai stabbed right through his neck. Yes, spying on us is something bad. You shouldn't be doing that. You caused your own death, said Kabuto, as he ripped out the kunai, as Hayate dropped on the ground, blood oozing from his neck. 2 days later, Naruto was currently in the Hokage's office. Ah, Naruto, what can I do for you? I was wondering, do you know where Jiraiya is? Hearing that, Sarutobi became immediately concerned. Is it something about your seal? No, Naruto said. It's fine. It's Mito. What? Is it something about her seal? Stop getting giddy, old man. It's nothing like that. Mito told me that she wants me to focus on my training. Seeing that I'm always training her, I never have time to focus on myself. So she told me she will get someone to train her. But Kakashi has already gone off with Sasuke. He informed us about this. Seeing that he's the only one with Sharingan, he can teach Sasuke more. So I'm looking for Jiraiya. You want him to teach Mito? Correct, Naruto said. So can you tell me where I can find him? Well, he is in the village. And if I must say, as a thought came to Sarutobi's mind. A couple minutes later, Jiraiya was sitting down in a tree, as he was currently spying on the ladies at the hot tub, writing into his book, with a big goofy grin on his face. Hey, as Jiraiya looked down to see Naruto under the tree. Hey kid, get out of here. You're going to make them hear you. We need to talk, Naruto said rather loudly. Hey kid, I told you I'm busy now. Can't you see I'm deep in investigating work? You mean peeping on the ladies, Naruto said. As Jiraiya's eyes went wide. Shh, brat, he said. He then saw Naruto walk away. Finally, Jiraiya said. But the reason Naruto walked away because the door to the hot spring came bursting open. As Jiraiya stepped back in fear as he collapsed out of a tree. All the girls had various weapons in their hand, wrapped up in towel. You pervert, the leader of the group said, as Naruto watched as they beat the living crap out of him, as Jiraiya cried out in pain. When they were done, they simply walked off. But then Jiraiya got up like nothing happened. He was probably used to that. See what you did, kid, you let me get caught. Now what do you want? Naruto looked at him with a blank expression. What? Jiraiya asked. So you're really a pervert, Naruto said. What? That is what you came here to ask me? And for your permission, I'm not a pervert. I am a super pervert, Jiraiya said. Naruto went into his pouch. I can't believe you were the one that wrote this. Jiraiya get an ecstatic look on his face. Huh? So you read my books, Jiraiya said. At least you're someone with wisdom. Yes, I must say, they're quite enjoyable to read. But for someone like you to be writing this. So you get your inspiration by peeping on women. That is why these books are so detailed. Well, I see you figured out. Yes, that is what my research is mostly made up of. But I'm happy that you can at least see the sense of wonders in my books. So, what do you want? Jiraiya asks, in a more lively mood. I wanted to train my sister. Your sister? Oh. Why? Jiraiya said. Because she want me to focus on my own training, and I believe you're the best person to train her. And why do you say that? Jiraiya asks. You're a seal master, aren't you? You know more about that seal. If I know Mito, she would want to conquer every obstacle in her way, so she would want to master the power of the fox. Really? Said Jiraiya. Yes, and if anything happens, you're the best one to seal that thing back, Naruto said. So yes, you're the best one to train her. Well, if you say so, Jiraiya said. I suppose I can help her out. As a favor to you then. One more thing, Naruto said. What is it? 5 minutes later, what are we doing out here? Asked Jiraiya, as Naruto brought him towards the training field. I heard that the fourth Hokage. As Jiraiya noticed the way Naruto said those words. By this point he knew that the boy knew that he's adopted by the fourth and Kushina, but he wasn't going to say anything about that. It would just ruin the mood. He created a jutsu called the Rasengan. I would like to know what it is. You know, while you told me to teach your sister, I was planning on teaching her that jutsu. It will be a great arsenal to help in her upcoming battles. And well, if you're that interested, I guess I could teach you a few things or two. Jiraiya then held up his hand as a Rasengan formed. As Jiraiya waited for Naruto to applaud him, like how he enjoyed his books. But a rather disappointed look came on Naruto's face. That's it? What do you mean that's it? Said Jiraiya. That's rather disappointing, Naruto said. What? Jiraiya said in surprise. You know what this is, kid? This is a Rasengan. The technique you just said was used by the fourth. And yes, it's a very deadly and advanced jutsu. It's not like someone your age. Jiraiya came to an immediate stop when he saw a Rasengan form in Naruto's palm. It was larger than his. As Jiraiya narrowed his eyes at Naruto. What the hell can this kid do? How did you manage to do it on the first? As Jiraiya was just confused. You know that this is just a ball of pure chakra, right? It's rather easy to learn when you have full control over your chakra. What? You're telling me that you have control over all that chakra that you have? Yes, up to this point I do, Naruto said. It's just your ridiculous seals holding it back. For now, I'll let them slide. Because you and the old man think that I can't control myself or something. But it doesn't matter, I don't need that much power to crush any of my foes in the upcoming battle. You know that you will be fighting off against the two-tailed Jinchuriki of Kumo, right? Yeah, Sensei told me about your match. That's not going to be a problem, Naruto said. Quite confident. Well, if you just formed a Rasengan like that, I can't deny that you're strong. But this isn't really something to be happy about, Naruto said. This jutsu is just made from pure chakra, in a spinning rotation form. Well, if you could add another nature to it, that would make it quite destructive. Well, I've been trying to do that, but it's quite difficult, said Jiraiya. Why? Naruto said. You just need to balance your chakra at a rate where you can do this. As Naruto held up his hand, Jiraiya stepped back in utter shock as he saw wind start to spiral around the Rasengan, giving it a shuriken shape. Suddenly, 4 clones poofed beside Naruto. What are you doing? Jiraiya asks. If I can do one, I can do the other, the clone answered for Naruto. As each of the clones created a Rasengan, as Jiraiya watches Naruto add water, fire, lightning, and even earth. As the earth one looked like a drill, the lightning was just cackling around the ball of Rasengan in the middle. The fire was blazing on top of the Rasengan, giving it a look like a sun, with a pure blue engine inside. And the water looked like a water vortex. Naruto and the clones thrust the Rasengan straight in towards the training area. Jiraiya had to leap back as Naruto stood there as everything was annihilated in front of him. Jiraiya couldn't believe what he was seeing. So much power from someone is... As Jiraiya stood there in shock, could this kid really be stronger than him? He was a legendary Sani for God's sake, but the way the kid do such things, it just made him seem unbelievable. If he tell anybody about this, it would seem fake. But how did he manage to do that? as Jiraiya still couldn't understand just what the hell was this kid. As Minato and Kushina, he was there when they found him, but no one up to this day know where did he come from or what is he. As Naruto then turned towards Jiraiya, Jiraiya looked at him. You declare yourself to be a super pervert. Act this way or do anything out of the way to my sister, and I'll kill you, Naruto said in a deadly serious tone. With that, he just flashed away. Jiraiya frowned. He just teach the boy, well, he kind of learned on his own, a prized jutsu, and he threatened him like that? Jiraiya scowled. Well, perhaps he could work on the little one. She has the potential as well, and if she wants to control the fox power, he could help her with that. Later that night, Naruto found himself in the memorial field, as the reason why he was here was right over there. Flashback earlier, as Sarutobi gave Naruto the location where Jiraiya probably is, the hot springs. He's always conducting research, said Sarutobi. Before I go, Naruto said, where's your little spy? My little what? You obviously know that I know about her now. Well, I guess so, said Sarutobi. But, you see, she lost someone dear to her. Lost someone dear to her, Naruto said. Yes, recently, there has been an attack in the village. You know the proctor for the preliminary exams. He was killed. And you don't know who it is, Naruto asks. No. But he was very close to Yujito. They were even living together. And she lost him. So that is why you haven't been seen her around. I never knew that you were that close with her. Well, the more she spied on me, the more we got into talk. And I rather enjoy our talks. Well, that's it, Naruto said. I'll see you later, old man. Good luck in your training, said Sarutobi, as Naruto left. End of the flashback. Naruto was watching Yujito, as she was kneeling down in the memorial stone of one Hayate, the proctor for the preliminaries that he just saw a couple days ago. As Yujito wasn't paying attention, she wasn't even reaching out her senses, so she wouldn't know that anyone is coming. Out here by herself, crying, it's a rather gloomy mood, as she turned to see Naruto. She wiped away her tears. Naruto? What are you doing here? I asked the old man about you. I never knew you cared. Well, I rather came to enjoy our little talks. But you have been missing for some time now. I heard that Hayate, his name was close to you. You lost him. As more tears started building in her eyes. Yes, she said, as she looked down at the grave. And you guys have no idea who could have done this. As she clenched her fist. Still nothing yet. Well, that is easy to deduce, Naruto said. Why would anyone in this village want him dead? It is most likely someone from the other villages. Yeah, I know that, she said. But there is nothing linking anything to them. When we found his body, it was clean of any evidence. So there is no way to find out what really happened, she said. Were you that close, Naruto asked. Close enough for him to move in with me. Naruto looked at her curiously. Well, I guess you wouldn't understand. But yes, we were. So, it will be hard for you to adjust back to regular things. As a part of Naruto didn't really care about Hayate or anything, but he missed his little talks with her, and sometimes he could get her to tell him things that he found rather interesting about Envu life and all those things. Do you want revenge, Naruto asked. She clenched her fist. Whoever did this, I want them to pay. Do you want me to kill all of the newcomers? She stopped, nearly choking on air, as she couldn't believe what she just heard, as she looked towards him. But the look in his eyes, he was dead serious. Naruto, under no circumstances do I want to do any of that. This would just cause a rift between the villages. If they heard that you kill their shinobis when you're not in a battle or anything like that. And this will cause problems for you, and the Hokage as well. So please, do you hear me, she said. Don't do anything like that. Why haven't you been sleeping, Naruto said, not answering her question. Before I answer your question, do you understand me? Do not do anything like that, she repeated. I heard you, Naruto said. Now, why haven't you been sleeping? As he noticed bags under her eyes. Well, I've been with him for a long time now, she said. So going home, it's different. And I can't sleep. So I just mostly stay outside until morning comes up. The Hokage know about my position, so he gave me time off until I'm ready to go back out there. Even though I insist that I'm able to do the job. You're clearly not, Naruto said, as he stepped forward. Go home and sleep. That's the thing, I can't. Every time I do, I see his face. And it just made me so angry and sad. My emotions are... I just can't, she said. I'll be alright. Just leave... She could get to finish that sentence as Naruto chopped her in the back of the neck. He caught her and placed her on the ground. Looks like I'll have to force you to sleep, he said. He then stood there for a couple of seconds, feeling something. You can come out, he said. I won't try to kill you this time. Last time, you were so calm and you snapped like a switch. Why should I trust you, Black Zetsu said, coming out of the ground, a distance away. You have been watching me for quite some time now. I can feel your presence. Impossible, Black Zetsu said. Think so. Well, 4 days ago, you were here. You were underground, sometime peeping out your head to see what is going on. But I could sense you either way. You can really sense me? Yes, I can. It's probably because of the link you have with Kaguya, your mother. I found out that the Jinchuriki of this village is your self-proclaimed sister. Am I right? Well, if you found that out, why should I tell you anything, Naruto said. That is the reason why you don't want me to revive Kaguya. That is the reason you don't want me to take the Nine Tails, because she will die. Have you become so stupid to not want your own mother back, instead choosing these humans over her? Humans? Yes, I can call myself a human as well. But you're not a human, are you? You're just an entity, made from the Kaguya woman you speak of. I can feel this within you. You're not even a real person. Do you even have emotions? Of course I do, Black Zetsu said. You call yourself a human, but you know, you're much more, right? You're something different from everyone in this world. I can tell that your strength, your power has been repressing over a long while now. You see, even if you release small amount of it, you're still not getting that full course of power. Just wait. When those seals break, you will see what you truly are. Something above all of these people. You were supposed to be a king. You can still be one if you just come with me. Naruto turned towards him fully with a cold, unreal look on his face. If you go after Mito, I'll kill you. I know you would say that. Well then, Zetsu then started to sink under the ground. If I can't get you on my side, I will make this world hate you. I will make them hunt you. I will make them come after you with everything they've got. I will make even your own village push you out. I know exactly you're gonna do that, Naruto asks. You just wait and see. But because of your stubbornness, I'll make you suffer until Mother arrives. But once she do, you'll not have to worry anymore. Because all of these miserable people will be gone. And Mother will be here. With that, Black Zetsu left without saying another word. As Naruto just stood there, he will have to kill that thing soon enough. And get rid of it before it can do anything to threaten his existence in this village. Because if this village wants to go up against him, he knows that the old man will try his best to stop all of that. But even if the old man cannot do it, and they threaten him in any way by coming towards Mito, all hell will break loose. The next morning, Yujito ruffled up in a comfortable bed. It's been a while. Since Hayate died, she hadn't had a comfortable sleep. As she wondered when did she fall asleep, she came to a realization. She didn't. She remembered talking to Naruto and that was... Did he knock me out, she wondered. That was the only explanation. She then sniffed as she smelled eggs and bacon. Looking around, she wondered where she is. This was definitely not her home, as she wondered what the hell is going on. She decided to investigate. Meanwhile, on a planet a distance away, Amara Otsutsuki was sitting down. As she was sitting around a table, facing someone to her left. Yes, I found him. The man beside her smiled. It has been a long time, but we finally did. Well, you did. I applaud you, he said. But you know you can't go there, she said. Why is that? The man asked. Because if you do that, suspicions will quickly rise. And I don't want to put the king in any situation where he has to face off against anyone right now. The man nodded slowly. You're right. Because if Momoshiki found out about this, he will try to go there himself and eliminate the young king. Seeing that Momoshiki is on his side, as Amara slowly nodded, she then went quiet as someone stepped in the room. He had white hair and Byakugan eyes like them, but he was young. Amara, he said, as he looked over at the next man and gave him a greeting as well. As the both of them gave a nod to him, giving him a small bow. Even though he was young, they bowed down to him. It's been quite some time. Have you found him yet? I'm sorry, we have had no such luck, Amara said. It seems like Kaguya just vanished off the face of the universe. That's quite disappointed. But it doesn't matter. If he was here, I am sure that he'd want to take a seat for himself. So it's luck that we don't find my brother, the boy said. Because if we do, I'll have to kill him myself. But guys, it'll be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And stay tuned for the rest of the one tips coming your way. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.